Let's talk about what it really means to judge someone by their performance. On the outside, they might look perfect, they might even seem successful. But here's a question: can someone who's always in control ever truly love, trust, or feel safe when things aren't going their way? Let's look at Kiyotaka Ayanokoji from Classroom of the Elite. He's a perfect example for this. He grew up without real human warmth. And if you've seen the anime, you know he's not your average kid. Ayanokoji always seems calm, collected, and totally in control. He's one of those people you just can't read. He barely shows what he's feeling, hardly ever sips up, and always seems to know what everyone else in the room is thinking. On the surface, you might think he's just super mature, like he's already figured out how to handle his emotions. But honestly, it's hiding a lot of scars. People see his lack of emotion and assume he's wise or strong. But the truth is, he's learned to act as if nothing gets to him. Deep down, it's like the part of him that's supposed to connect with people just got switched off. And all of that starts in a place called the White Room, which, by the way, is as mysterious as it sounds. Ayanokoji didn't have anything close to a normal childhood. The White Room, it wasn't about raising kids to be better people. It was more like a laboratory, turning them into the best of the best. So, it's no wonder Ayanokoji feels out of place with everyone else. Instead of trying to connect with people, he analyzes them. To him, every social situation is a puzzle, and he's always looking for the next piece to move. It's like having someone who never loses, but they can also explain your emptiness perfectly. The emptiness that comes from a source deep within. So, I have left the citations to the psychological terms in the description. Feel free to check them out. If you find this interesting, please leave a comment. Follow Overload Kennethan, be sure to point it out, and don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons for more videos like this. Even after leaving the White Room, it's like a part of him is still trapped there. He's a kid who grew up under non-stop pressure with zero emotional warmth. To survive, he had to shut off trust, connection, basically everything that makes us human. That makes it clear when his relationships reflects this damage. Take Kei Karuizawa. They weren't a typical romance at first. It started with a strategy and dependence, but over time, it became one of the first places where Ayanokoji started to open up, to trust, and to get close, even if he didn't fully understand it himself. And then there's his father, the guy who pushed Ayanokoji to aim higher, to be more than everyone else. So, who is Ayanokoji, really? Is he a mastermind? A manipulator? Maybe even a monster? Or is he just someone who's been pushed so hard just to survive? He's forgotten what it means to actually live. Ayanokoji has some traits that you might call Stoic. Stoicism is really about how we handle our strong feelings. A true Stoic feels fear, sadness, or anger just like anyone else. What sets them apart is how they choose to respond. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He faced huge hardships, like Antonine Plague, endless Germanic wars on the Danube frontier, chronic illnesses, and more. But he didn't let those things control him. The main idea is to feel your emotions and then decide what to do with them. Now, looking at Ayanokoji's inner world is pretty interesting. According to Psychology Today, alexithymia, also called emotional blindness, is a personality trait characterized by difficulty experiencing, identifying, understanding, and expressing emotions. This could explain why Kiyotaka Ayanokoji has difficulty recognizing and describing his own feelings, often appearing detached and analyzing others' emotion in a clinical, almost scientific way, rather than relating to them instinctively. He believed that fear causes hesitation, that attachment gives others power over you, and that empathy wastes mental energy on things that don't matter right now. In his world, feelings weren't seen as human qualities, but as dangerous weaknesses. So, he trained himself to ignore them. And honestly, it worked. He doesn't really feel shame, and the usual mind games that mess with most people just bounce right off him. That fear of failing that even smart people freeze over, he just doesn't have it. Honestly, he's immune to many things that usually mess other people up. But of course, there's a cost. It's his humanity that he gave up. He's missing all the normal emotional wiring most people build as they grow up, the stuff that helps us deal with feelings. That's why he doesn't lose much. It's not just about being smart, though let's be real, he probably is. It's that he was basically trained from the start not to care about winning or losing at all. If you had to find one word to describe how Ayanokoji treats others, Machiavellian might fit better than sociopathic. Niccolo Machiavelli, the Renaissance diplomat and political thinker, studied politics during a time marked by betrayal, weak rulers, and chaos. He wasn't asking how people should behave, he was analyzing how power really works when fear, self-interest, and deceptions are involved. That's why calling Ayanokoji Machiavellian actually fits. It's not messing with people for fun, it's doing it on purpose. He figures out what motivates people, predicts how they'll react, and puts them exactly where he needs them. To him, relationships aren't about feelings. They're like systems he needs to manage. That's why I see Ayanokoji as more Machiavellian than either a Stoic or psychopathic. He doesn't seek chaos for the thrill, nor does he crave admiration like a narcissist. He carefully plans his actions, patiently waits for the right moment, and conceals his ego to maintain control. That's how he can read everyone so well while keeping his own feelings locked down. When students get emotional, he treats their reactions like data. Fear just means they'll hesitate. Attachment is something he can use, and empathy is a distraction he ignores. In the White Room, his human side might have looked like a weakness, so he learned to hide it, which actually gives him some edge. Shame doesn't bother him as much as it does others, and he honestly couldn't care less about social pressure. When someone tries to manipulate him through insecurity, it usually doesn't work because he doesn't tie his self-worth to others' approval. That's part of what makes him dangerous. Yeah, he's smart, but he also almost impossible to shake emotionally. The thing is, by shutting himself off so much, he lost more than just pain. He's lost real connections with people. That really changes how you see things, doesn't it? He's not just manipulating because he gets a kick out of hurting people. Sometimes he's doing it to stay in control, making sure no one catches him off guard. By the end of season 1, it's pretty obvious when he shifts from being just a background character to someone who actually takes action. For him, winning clearly matters more than the emotional toll. That's what makes Ayanokoji so intriguing. And why did he decide to do that? Is it because of the competition or the special tests? Let me know your thoughts. There's this complicated feeling Ayanokoji wanted to grapple with: love. But honestly, the person he's chosen for this is his girlfriend, Kei Karuizawa. Kei isn't really his girlfriend in the usual way, more like an experiment to him. She's basically proof of how he handles people. Their relationship kind of shows off his people skills. His approach, it's not about scaring her or being too friendly. Instead, he's doing something more deliberate, a careful balance between warning and reassurance. He shifts between these states so smoothly that she can never really settle into either one. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. You've probably seen it in slot machines or maybe in toxic relationships. The reward, or in Kei's case, relief, comes at unpredictable times. That unpredictability messes with the brain in a way that consistency just can't compete with. It keeps her attachment system fired up, always on the lookout for the next cue. The connection she builds with this way feels stronger and lasts longer than one based solely on kindness. According to the information about Classroom of the Elite, Kiyotaka Ayanokoji is portrayed as quiet, modest student who is preferred to keep his distance from others, yet shows exceptional intelligence and skill in understanding people's motivations. His careful approach to uncovering others' vulnerabilities, such as recognizing when someone hides behind a social mask or has been affected by bullying, is intentional and calculated, much like a structural engineer methodically identifying the most important supports in the building. Knowing her pressure points helps him know exactly where to push and how hard to push. According to Star Treks in anime, He subtly tests her vulnerability by giving her intense, deliberate attention that makes her question what he truly knows about her, creating a sense of unease. When her anxiety peaks, he reassures her by providing comfort and security. Notice his timing. He always waits. Giving comfort too soon would be too obvious, and that's not what he's going for. He shows up just at the right time, giving a little reassurance but leaving some uncertainty for the next time. She doesn't really fall for him. Instead, she hooks into the patterns he makes. That's important to catch. She sees the pattern as something that just sort of happens to her, something he totally controls. This isn't really a love story with a cold-hearted main character. It's more like a behavioral conditioning controlled by someone who sees people as stress systems rather than full-fledged individuals. He doesn't ask how she feels, he just predicts her actions and positions himself as the main thing she's organizing around. But even that kind of control has its limits. And here's a question. Why did Ayanokoji want to experience love in the first place? Comment down below. Every system has its edge cases. Those little bugs that engineers don't see coming, where default settings lead to unexpected results. This particular edge case? Trust. Control logic works well when you can figure out what makes the other person tick, predict what they'll do, and step into the cause and effect chain just at the right moment. It's great in conflicts and negotiations, but it starts to fall apart when there's no clear right move. Moments when someone just needs you to be there, fully present, with no hidden agenda, no analysis, no positioning. He can't do that, not because he refuses, but because that's just not how he's built. Every interaction goes through the same layer that's always asking, what's this person's pressure point? And what outcome am I aiming for? That kind of thinking works in a crisis, but it crumbles the second someone just needs you there. No agenda, no calculations, no moves. According to an article by Renaldi Joshi and Hudson Hellman, Ayanokoji intellectually grasps what people need and employs subtle influence strategies. But truly connecting with those needs on an emotional level is much more complicated. People around him notice something different about him. Even if they cannot exactly explain why, the emotional tone feels off. He says the right thing at the right times, but there's a mechanical precision to it, like he's always just a bit too perfect. Deep down, people notice they're being analyzed, not truly understood. For someone trained in system thinking, this little nuance isn't just a hint, it's a sign that his responses follow patterns. With enough watching, those patterns become predictable. The same training that makes him tough to manipulate also make him readable. Someone's patient enough to spot the pattern. Here's the irony. The White Room didn't just take away vulnerability. It also took away his ability to make choices that aren't purely logical, but matter a lot. Choices that can't always be explained. Those are the decisions that make someone predictable. Those are the decisions that make someone unpredictable, and more importantly, truly human. He left the White Room, but the limits it placed in his mind, they're still there. You just can't make those kinds of human, unpredictable choices anymore. If you strip away the school politics, the class rankings, the point system, and the rival groups, you're left with a simpler question he's been asking himself since a year out. Can a function become a person? It's not at the school to win. Winning comes naturally, almost like background noise. What really matters to him is the damage left by the White Room, and whether there is anything inside him that the conditioning didn't erase. Watch how he observes himself, not in a reflective, self-aware way, but more like a researcher checking instrument readouts. When something provokes a reaction, he doesn't just feel it. He notes it, slides it away, and questions what it reveals about the system generating it. Most people feel their emotions and maybe think about them later. He sees his emotions as data, and the experience itself often takes a backseat to what the data reveals. His thing with Kei shows this perfectly, partly using her to stay in control, but he's also testing himself. Does being around her make him feel anything real or unexpected? It's like he's running a live experiment to see if he can still actually care about someone. or if all those old lessons from the White Room just buried that ability for good. And yet, his victories, winning class competitions, outsmarting rivals, acing exams, they don't settle this question. They can't. Because none of that proves he can care about someone on a real emotional level. Every achievement feels hollow, not because it's unimpressive, but because it leaves the core question untouched. Ayanokoji, acting purely as a function, even when he's rebelling, just proved the White Room's thesis was right. That's the weakest way to see his situation. Outsmarts everyone and tops his class. His farthest worldview still wins. His father believed that the personal, the emotional, the human, everything is just noise. The only way he can truly win is something inside him start to matter, something he didn't engineer. And so far, there's little evidence that's happening. Here's what's probably going to happen. He gets really good at pretending to be close, knowing exactly what to say when, and then mistakes that smooth act for real connection. That's quite risky for someone whose self-awareness is so clinical. You can understand how emotional intimacy works on a theoretical level without ever truly feeling it. Kind of like knowing how to swim without ever having been in water. The notion that a single true connection can resolve all issues, that's unrealistic. Deep early wounds, especially those formed before the brain completes its foundationally emotional patterns, don't simply heal through consistent kindness. Kei's genuine intent doesn't undo what occurred when he was 6. This isn't pessimism, it's a typical response to early trauma. The attachment patterns formed in childhood are often among the most lasting aspects of our psychology. Instead, what may occur is a form of partial adaptation, deliberately making choices and adopting ethical positions because they are important, rather than solely acting on instinct. It's not the same as fully opening up emotionally, but still something he might go through his whole life translating emotions. Kind of like someone learning a second language in their 30s, talking accurately and fluently, but always feeling a slight delay, always aware of the gap between the world and the feeling it's supposed to convey. It's like having someone who never loses, but they can also explain their emptiness perfectly. The emptiness that comes from a source deep within. So, I have left the citations to the psychological terms in the description. Feel free to check them out. If you find this interesting, please leave a comment. Follow overlook anything, be sure to point it out. And don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons for more videos like this.